Hey everybody, Bill Flipper, and I wanted to do a quick breakdown of Brickfest. So if you're thinking of going, if you're thinking of going with your children, I'm going to summarize, and this is for a small area, so it was Central PA. So I already assume like New York City, Atlanta, you might have a much different experience because of the population and a lot more to do there. So let's say you're in a small town, probably something like Cleveland or somewhere small like that. This is what how it went for us. So I bought the tickets a few months ago. I did splurge for the VIP. I highly recommend not doing that. All you get is a pin and like some extra Legos where you build the mascot. I mean, even if it's only a $10 markup, unless you are a huge pin collector, I would not do it. Or I would just do it for one person in the family if the pin's really important to you. It was completely overpriced. You can do great just not buying the VIP. So that's the first thing. And there's no incentive. Like you can't cut to the front of the line. You can't get in early, nothing like that. So we went there. We stayed for approximately 2.5 hours. For adults, I mean, it's really iffy. So they have some things for kids. They have some mocks, so big builds, so like life-size builds. They mostly centered around Greek mythology. They were really cool to see, but it was not. It was not. It was similar to Legoland. They had some Star Wars big builds, and like I said, we stayed for about 2.5 hours. You're definitely not going to spend all day there, even with a bunch of kids. They have you can build race cars and race them. They have a big Lego pit. But we also went for a lot of, my son is crazy about retired minifigures. And they have a lot of the Simpson blind bags. The Batman movie, Lego movie blind retired boxes. So we went there. They were approximately online prices. I think they were $12 to Simpsons. You can find the blind bags cheaper online, but it was still cool to go there, and it wasn't like a massive markup. Now I've heard some of the new Lego sets, they're like anywhere from 15 to 20% more than just off the shelf at Walmart. So I don't know if you want to get those, but for retired minifigures, it's pretty cool being able to get them. And so that was a big thing. We spent about 120 on retired minifigures. So the next thing is the VIP wasn't worth it. I have a list here. The local displays will be different at each one. We had some really cool things. They were droid builders, so I'm guessing these are engineers, people interested in robots and things like that. I have a couple shorts on my thing where they had an R2D2 that was completely almost a very almost on the level of like a theme park display. It moved around, it played music, it did a lot of the switchings up on top. It was very cool, and it was one of the most enjoyable things there. So that's probably not countrywide. So, and you may have something that we're not there. They had some local builders. They varied in quality and things like that. One guy was local. All he built was first responder vehicles, and he probably had like 300. So he did fire trucks, ambulances, and he had a huge collection. Another one was like some kid, I don't know if he was doing it for a school project. He had a big pirate ship. And then he had a historical battle, and it was pretty cool. He was dressed in a suit. It was pretty interesting just sitting there. They also have a ton. I don't know if they were selling them, but they have a ton of like probably the last 5 or 10 years of Star Wars builds. They had every single one there on a table. They also had some large Captain America shields. If you go online, it is most like for a couple or an adult, you're probably not going to enjoy it that much. But if you have children, a lot of the interactive stuff. My son loved it, and he's 6. But we were, my brother and I took him there. We started to get pretty bored. One thing that I would recommend possibly going. We went the day before Saturday, Friday, so that was helpful. I think the lines would be super long Saturday. And another thing is like they built the whole car, and then they did one race. So it was, and there's a long line to build the car. So it was kind of like you're waiting 20 minutes for a 10-second race, which was not very fun. You couldn't take any of the Legos home. There again, the mosaic thing was pretty cool. So they give you a base plate, they give you instructions, and then you build a large, I think it's Marvel or superhero mosaic. So that is not going to be done until Saturday, but you can participate and do that. That was pretty cool. Like I said, probably the best thing he liked was going into the shop and getting the retired minifigures because he's a real collector. The next thing, I mean, that is basically it. Again, this may be much better if you're in a large metropolitan area because you're going to have lots of more stuff. If you read the reviews on Reddit and you read the reviews on a few different message board places or whatever you call them anymore, they're generally negative, especially for adults. They think it's overpriced. If you have kids, a lot of those people are like, "Yep, it was fun." So you kind of have to play. If you have a 6-year-old, you might have a great time. If you have a 15-year-old, they might be pretty bored there. Most of the things are pretty simple building things, so you can put your name on a board. You can do the mosaic. The VIP, here's a quick thing of the VIP. You get a pin. I think it was like $15 extra. You get a pin, and then you get like 20 Legos to build their little mascot. And I'm just like, and I thought you got a blind bag with like a special minifigure. I mean, I was very let down by the VIP experience. There's no reason to get VIP. None. Again, unless you're like big on like collecting pins or something like that. The markup is just, there is basically no difference between that. So that's all I basically have. My review is, if it's for adults, you probably don't want to do it. If you have some children that are young, they'll have a good time. And basically it's up to you. I think it sounded like Legoland's probably better, to be honest, that kids are having more fun at Legoland. He said he would rather, he didn't say he would rather go to Legoland, that he loved both. So take it for what it is from a 6-year-old. But we had a pretty good time. Didn't stay there too long. And again, he basically liked the shop the best. And they were slightly marked up. So the blind bags at Simpsons were like $12. You can get, I think, it depends what set, like 4 online for $25. So that's quite a markup. But then if you go to another website, that's, they're about $10 a blind bag. So you really have to look at it. But, while you're at the place, they're retired minifigures. There's going to, about $10, $12 a piece is probably about what you're going to get. So that's all I have for today. I hope this review kind of helps. I have lots of shorts on what we saw there. So if you're interested in some of the big builds, or any of the builds, I have lots of shorts on that. I'll probably do a whole video where I kind of, show everything that's going on, then talk through. But I hope that lets you make your decision. And there's also, like I said, a lot of videos already on the review there, and they probably are pretty much like mine. But again, if you're in a major metropolitan area, you might have a lot more things to do and more fun. That's all I have for today. Have a great day. See ya.